Hello, my name is Shavonda Jackson. I am a BSN Nurses student from Indiana State University, and I will be doing a presentation on emergency preparedness. Population at risk will include impoverished communities with limited resources, ages ranging from infancy to elderly that may be affected, and this would include all male and female. Learning objectives. At the conclusion of this presentation, the participants will be able to define and explain natural disasters, identify the importance of emergency preparedness, define and explain what items are needed for emergency preparedness, identify preparation for health issues during the disaster, what items will be needed, what needs to be done, and identify the resources post-disaster. There will be a pre-test to be completed before you continue with the presentation, but there will also be a post-test at the end of the presentation. Thank you for your participation. What is a natural disaster? A natural disaster is severe weather or environmental hazards that pose a danger to humans, homes, property, buildings, the security of the homeland that has been impacted by the disaster. The type of natural disasters includes earthquakes, extreme heat, floods, hurricanes, mudslides, lightning, tornadoes, tsunamis, volcanoes, wildfire, and winter weather that may include winter storms related to snow, avalanches where there's heavy snow, and earthquakes. And those are just a few of the natural disasters. Earthquakes. Earthquake is the acceleration of shaking of the ground, resulting in the movement of rocks beneath the earth. Earthquakes create an onslaught of natural disasters like fires, tsunamis, landslides, and avalanches. Earthquakes take place with little to no warning. They have a major impact on infrastructure. According to the study by Bangalore et al. In 2019, there has been a connection shown between earthquakes based on their study of the Canterbury earthquakes, that they have a great impact on psychological instability, resulting in increase in mental illnesses. Avalanche. An avalanche is the fast-paced flow of snow running down a sloped surface. Once an avalanche is ignited, it grows in size very swiftly. Usually, anything in its path is taken out. Hurricanes are treacherous and can be life-threatening. Hurricanes are identified as cyclones, typhoons, in some areas of the biosphere. They are identified by high winds, flooding, heavy rain, storm surges. The hurricane season begins May 15th for the North Pacific, June 1st for the Atlantic and the Caribbean, and hurricane season ends on November 30th. Hurricanes are born from an instability within the atmosphere, which creates a tropical disturbance that turns into a tropical depression and increases to a tropical storm. Once a tropical storm becomes a hurricane, it's classified in 5 categories. It starts at a 1, and the most catastrophic is a 5. I will show you a series of photos that display the different type of disasters: tornadoes, volcanoes, droughts, floods, and winter storms. Here I have a list of the basic emergency preparedness items that'll be needed to prepare for any type of major natural disaster. A gallon of water per person. We'll need food for a 3-day supply, non-perishable food, battery operated or hand crank radio to determine the weather or what may be happening during the disaster or post-disaster, a flashlight, the first aid kit, extra batteries, a whistle to signal for help, a dust mask just in case we're dealing with environmental air, contaminated air, smoke, or maybe gases from a volcano, plastic sheeting or duct tape to shelter in place, moist toilets for personal sanitation, wrench, pliers to turn off utilities, a manual can opener, local maps just to get around, cell phones with charger or a backup battery for communication purposes. The list shown here is emergency preparedness checklist to gather the things you would need for as medication, glasses for infants, their formula, diapers for your pets. You need to grab food and water for your pets. Important documents that may get destroyed within the disaster itself, so you want to put it in a waterproof container for safety. That would be like insurance policies, identification, bank records, any cash and change that you would need to purchase things, emergency referral sources, sleeping bag if you encounter winter storms, extra clothing, a change of clothes for long sleeve, long pants, sturdy shoes, additional clothing if it's cold weather, a fire extinguisher if you have one, matches in a waterproof container, feminine supplies for women, personal hygiene and hand sanitizer, mess cup, paper cups. Depending on where you would have to stay, these items would come in handy. Paper and pencil for things that we need to write down, games, puzzles, and other activities for children so it can distract them from the things that's going on. Emergency evacuation plan. Communities should be aware of all the evacuation routes in their city. Knowing the quickest route to get out is imperative. Most counties are evacuated by zone, and education should be done for the residents for their respective zones and where they live. Knowing if you reside in a flood zone and the direct path of any severe storm or environmental hazard is important to be able to prepare to get out in time. Residents should know where to shelter in place in case they're not able to evacuate. I thank you for watching my presentation. These are the references that are listed for all the resources, and there will be a post-test at the end of this presentation. I hope you learned something more about evacuation, natural disasters, and emergency preparedness.